All right. Welcome back. This this broadcast na a continuation of our discussion for ACN TV. We will get an interruption in the ACN TV studio, or probably my network will get an interruption. So we get for end that broadcast today. I want to continue this broadcast in a continuation from my discussion where I be get my presentation of broadcast or podcast where I be get for ACN. So I want to continue the discussion today. I beg when I share them so that when I invite other people, make they can join me for here, make we continue the discussion because very important discussion and information we are going to bring up for our people them and for help our people them to get a greater understanding of the manipulation, of the deception will be engineered and be planted within our liberation struggle for kill the aspirations of the Ambazonian people them and therefore for take them back into La Republique du Cameroon. We this generation, we must make sure say these things never happen. All right? This thing never happen. Say a people don't already defeat Cameroon. They go use agents, implanted agents, unionists, and Fumba Knights for drag our people them back into the hands of the occupier. So we go provide them with the education. We go provide them with the intelligence. Make we continue. Hello. I know. I'm on YouTube now, so you can harvest it from YouTube. So, make we continue for place where we end. All right, very interesting discussion. So, I be the give you now a breakdown of how the unionists, of how the Fumba Knights, how the people they want to take una back to La Republique du Cameroon, how they always one can hijack the liberation struggle, how they always can hijack collaboration, how they always can hijack unity for take them into the direction of the occupier. All right? We don't lay under the groundwork from the hijacking of Skakoof by a person who come out nowhere. They just bring it up and wham! They don't carry make it create government. Right? And they create this monster. I don't give them that background. I don't need to go there anymore because we don't understand these things very well. Number two, we lay out the case of how after the first IG, the second IG, it come in with the more divisive tendencies. They come in now for them for take over the entire liberation of Ambazonia and then draw Ambazonia them to what it end up for happen for 2019 to a Cameroon setup, what they call and say the Swiss process. It not end for day. The second IG come in. It killed 680 forces through the county by county approach. 680 forces they be killed through the county by county approach for reduce the fighting on the ground. They tell them saying that then they be custom tax collectors and they take them, go put them for schools and set them up without any material being provided to them. Deceive them. Within a short period of time, 680 Ambazonian forces under county by county, they be killed by the wickedness of Sarkozy and Chris and their other agents that will be promote county by county. It not end for them. They ban the ADF, ban the AGOFC, ban Dr. Chuayaba, and they take the liberation struggle, they turn them into a war on the ground between the corrupt forces that they already buy them, bribe them, for use them against our own nationalist army. So the division within Ambazonian struggle, it be artificially engineered, it be artificially created by implanted agents of Cameroon. Who said Sako come on? Sako was jobless. After 20-something years to America, Sako be jobless. Better clothes for skin, you never wear them. Shoe for foot, you never wear them. Teeth, you never even fit for brush them. It be jobless, it be hopeless. He go rent a small place for Toxic be pastor. 5 people though they come for a church. When the liberation start, they come say they do Mr. Common Sense. From nowhere, La Republic don't take it. Put him, say the Ambazonia president. Really? Really? Did he always take the most desperate, the most frustrated, the one that they live on the edge of survival, the most vulnerable, financially vulnerable, socially vulnerable, psychologically vulnerable. Not only those ones, the occupier military intelligence, it go buy them, can't choke them inside on a liberation struggle and tell una say una lead as that. The desperate ones, the one they wait for their lives, they never get a place to stay. They don't get a place to stand. So therefore they be desperate. They be desperate for corruption. They be desperate for bribery. They be desperate for chop. They be desperate for wear better clothes. They be desperate for drive a small motor. They be desperate for get a place to stay. So their vulnerability, it make them susceptible for manipulation. Their lack of independence, social independence, financial independence, career stability, it make them become vulnerable to the intelligence services of the occupier. Same thing with Cristiano. Zero education for America. You not build a career. You not get professional training. So they not get anything where they feel stand on their own. So the occupier, it prey. It is like a hawk. It find those vulnerable ones, those desperate ones, for take them, for use them, the most useless ones, for take them, for do their bidding, for do their fight for them. That's why Christian will be so vicious. That's why he speaks so loud. That's why be the chief promoter of hate, division, disunity. That's why if he come for that TV, can't call for the killing of forces on the ground. Expose the names and locations of generals, say may they kill them. When I think say they do that because they care about ground zero. When I think say they do that because they want make una succeed. They did do that because now a game for pay to play. They pay their rent, The occupier pay their rent. The occupier don't help for give them money for buy clothes. For the first time, they wear better shoe. For the first time, they go for better store, buy better shirt, better tie, chop better chop. For the first time, they get motor for drive. For the first time, they get a house for stay. It becomes a very good, profitable business, right? Why they not go be vicious? Why they not go be intent for multiply the chaos? Because there is incentives. Their lives don't be changed. For the first time, they get financial hope. For the first time, they get social hope. For the first time, through corruption, they get certainty. For the first time, they get social dignity. I want to give you all this background. Make you understand how the enemy work. When I look all the one the way the enemy don't buy them around. Same circumstances, same desperate conditions. The one the way they don't get paper, the enemy go promise forgive them, help them, may they get paper. Create NGOs for them. Give them money, may they start business. For come after una. For destroy ground zero. And for create a perception of infighting, disunity, and the people they know what they fight for. You know, end for them. They come out, say all forces on the ground, na their own. And any force on the ground where no one come under them, may they kill that force, right? Why? Why a people they not create a force, they not build a force, they not recruit forces, they not train fighters, they not provide weapons. They would talk say if forces they not come under them, because now not them they be Ambazonia. Now the IG be Ambazonia. And if you not come under the IG, you must be killed. If that IG in Ambazonia, why the first IG not recruit forces, train forces, armed forces? Why the second IG? You not create forces, armed forces, train forces, equip forces. Why? They not build forces, but they only be interested for grab existing forces and therefore destroy from within. Why? Three weeks ago, I been before United States for Washington, D.C. for represent the Ambazonian people, for represent the Governing Council of Ambazonia Executive Office as an ambassador to the leader. The leader sent me for go represent the organization, for go represent the Ambazonian people then, for one of the biggest diplomatic meetings with the government of the United States. And they bring all these things to understand. Because during these meetings, one of the main important things with the government of the United States, it tell the Ambazonian people, the delegation of Ambazonians, will be represented by other movements, including me. The biggest warning with the tell we. Now this concept of multiplication of IGs, the biggest worry within the international system, the thing where they make the American government be worried the most, it make the international community be worried the most. Now this every day, they create new governments for Ambazonia. I want to ask you something. If the first IG, the international community and international experts, legal experts, they behold their ear, they twist them. Even the law firm where Ayok Tabe, the IG go higher up. They hold the ear, they say make una not create a government. I mean, where Skakuf go higher up. The governing Skakuf, where they change them into the governing council. When they go hire a law firm, the Foley Hawk, they hold these people their ears, say, we're going to not create a government. It will be like the biggest thing we will destroy now. Why Ayok Tabe still go ahead for create a government, even when the biggest international experts, they don't hold their ear, they twist up. Why go create a government? Today, we pay the price. The disunity, the infighting, it be artificially engineered and it be created for the purpose for destroy the Ambazonian liberation. For stop the nationalist movement from completing the liberation of Ambazonia. The creation of the IG. Now they create the IG as an instrument for stop the process of Ambazonian liberation in order to pave the way for a unionized agenda will come around. As we see with the 4 points, as Jeune Afrique rush, say the discussion they go on for Yaoundé between the Kondengi IG and La République. Same time, Sako, the discuss with La République du Cameroon through Switzerland, through a Cameroon created process. Why all these things matter? Because when I go shidon, when I think say Ambazonia and no one work together, the only people where they no one make work together, now the instrument where they create them for Zaria, and they be multiplied in Maryland, and now they don't duplicate them in Texas. Now the instrument where Cameroon create them for make Ambazonia no move forward. The IG now an impediment to the Ambazonian liberation struggle. Their goal now for hijack forces on the ground, for create artificial division and infighting for diaspora, and for give our people a sense of hopelessness, and for portray a very bad image in the international community. All the things in which Sako, he and Chris Ano they do, they be deliberate. The multiplication of the IG care through their small Njangi groups, like Southern Cameroon International Town Hall, with their only focus na AGOFC, Dr. Ayaba, and the ADF. It be deliberate. These guys are unionists and Fumba Knights. Where they be bent for stop the nationalist movement from leading the Ambazonian people to full independence and full liberation. I want to ask you now. Till today, IG number 3 don't come, right? IG number one, you know, build a military. So people, they tell you, say, the one give you independence, and they tell you, say, the one fight a liberation war for you, right? The one lead a liberation for you. Like the public don't declare war on our people, right? They tell you, say, they care about you, right? They tell you, say, they want to protect you, right? Why a person will tell you, say, want to protect you? He care about you. He want to free you from military occupation, from the Cameroon colonial state. Why that person, he never ever recruit a soldier for you, train a soldier for you, give that soldier gun. So he won't protect you when he tell you, say, want to protect you, they want to protect you now from now with waiting. They want to protect you with waiting. First IG, you know, train forces, you know, recruit forces, you know, arm forces. Second IG, you know, recruit forces, you know, train forces, you know, arm forces. Third IG don't come. They don't ever tell now. Say they get plan for recruit, for train, for provide forces. So you tell me, who is fooling who? Who is deceiving who? May I ask the question again? Why they only be interested? Now for hijack the other forces with other people, don't recruit them, train them, and equip them. Why? Because it come up again. Now remember when they create Bui warriors. Bui warriors, it be being a unitary force for all the forces for Bui for work together. Now they name that Bui warriors. Bui warrior, it be being a unity force for all the forces for Bui. That means say the ADF and all the other forces for Bui. Now then they come up for make up Bui warriors. What happened with Bui warriors? Sako they come in, yeah, Chris Anu. They hijack the unity force and use that unity force for cause chaos on the population, impose pain on the population, extortion, killings, harassment, and they engineer the greatest infighting in Ambazonia they don't ever see him. And he eventually lead to the death of 39 ADF forces and other forces where they follow General F and for go for Bui, for go distribute materials against a special nationalist operation. It lead to the death, right? So you tell me, people they want to give you independence, why they will use forces with them and then they hijack those forces for use them for kill other forces, and then take all their weapons after they don't kill them, go surrender those weapons worth more than $50,000 to the hands of the Republic of Cameroon. Then they be bold enough for come for national TV when they ask and say, wait till happen with ADF 39 fighters. Sako talks and make they go ask La Republique. Wonders, right? Why they bring this up again? And they bring this up from 2019. We don't carry for 2022. The Ambazonia Governing Council, through its forces, the Ambazonia Defense Forces for Bui, and the Bui community, they don't come together again for 2022 for create what they call the Unity Warriors for Bui. The Unity Warriors, it be comprised of the forces of ADF for Bui, the forces of General PT of the Marines of Babalang, and the remaining forces where they make up which they still call and say the Bui Warriors. Okay? The remaining forces of the Bui Warriors, these three forces, they come together for creating what they call and say the Bui Unity Warrior. It be organized, led, championed, and coordinated by the Ambazonia Governing Council for make sure say our forces they feel work together, for make sure say the forces of General PT, the Marine forces of Bambalang, the faction of the Bui Warriors who remain, and the ADF, they feel work together. And one can tell the Ambazonian people again, as would he speak, the Unionites, the Fumbanites, they want to try for hijack this unity again for Bui, for their political gains. The one can hijack this unity again for Bui. And this time around, they deter the forces. Who they deter for hijacker? People they tell and I say they don't believe for self-defense. Now that they go now after their small junkie group, they call one now Southern Cameroon's International Town Hall. A movement, a platform will be created by who? Fontaine Neba. Who be Fontaine Neba? Fontaine Neba, Dr. Fontaine Neba, now one of the former leaders of the consortium, where La République du Cameroun be Kajemi and Agobala, he go put them for prison in order for kill the liberation struggle at that stage. Right? After 8 months, Yi Fontaine Neba and Agobala, they signed a deal with the Cameroon government. All wanna know this one not been an accusation, this one are just until we all wanna know a public information. Akire Muna, the man will be the represent Fontaine Neba, Ian Agbobala. He came out openly. He said they signed a deal with the Cameroon government in order for them for it to be released. What will be the deal? Agbobala no will ever talk about the independence of Southern Cameroon, and so too is Fontaine Neba. Since that day, Agbobala changed his stand. Right? Since the moving from prison, he take his stand for join La République because he signed a conditional release for them to give passport back and for be able to travel. And since then, he make that deal. When I see what he happen, he take the organization, the turn and make it begin to speak on behalf of La République du Cameroun, and La République du Cameroun fly left and right, all kind of conferences for go speak on Cameroon and condemn Ambazonia. Right? Fontaine Neba come off outside there, now the same. They come and say, oh, La République du Cameroun, they want to organize a referendum. Say the international community want to organize referendum. So the international community don't say make it bring all leaders together. See, no problem. They meet for Washington, D.C. Where he end up? He end up for create Southern Cameroon's International Town Hall. Now that Southern Cameroon's International Town Hall, they use them today for do the biggest sabotage against national leaders, against the Ambazonia Defense Forces, against Dr. Abacho. Who created them? Fontaine Neba. The same Southern Cameroon's International Town Hall, the IGK don't surrender SCBC to them for use SCBC as a platform for fight against nationalist leaders, as a platform of blackmail, of sabotage. So when I begin to connect the dots, right? When I begin to connect the dots, if people they tell you say they want unity, they stand for unity, they fight for unity, why be say the goal of the Fumbanites and the Unionists now always for hijack any unity effort with the creator on the ground. When we want to bring forces from Mezam together, same, they start for scream. When the AGOFC create the contender force, for bring all forces, commanders and generals, for them to get a platform for work together, they scream, they cry, they make all kind of noise. Destroyer. Now, we don't get a warning. From who? The Americans. The American government. It tell we for Washington, D.C. The biggest danger we will face now the creation and the multiplication of the IGs. The Americans, they talk say the biggest danger with the Ambazonian people, the face am, now the creation and the multiplications of the IGs. Because the division too much. And it get to a point where the Americans, they not want to hear anything Ambazonia. Because one of the IG them, especially the one that for Chris Anuyi and Sako, they actually did make phone call for threatening US congressmen, for threatening senators, for threatening staff of US Congress senators and members of the US State Department, for sabotage them, make them no one hear anything about Ambazonia anymore. So, we need to understand this game for the creation and the multiplication of the IG groups and their intended purpose for give a damaging reputation to the liberation struggle of Ambazonia. If think about what I try to tell you and why after they already won we say this multiplication of governments it will give a very bad image to the liberation struggle. Why again Chris Anuyi and Marianata they come go create the IG number 3? Even when the international community they scream. Because it shows say there is danger ahead if the international community even try to support the aspirations of the creation of this for restore the state of Ambazonia. So danger go over be. And now Cameroon they create this danger for frightening the international community. Now Cameroon they drive this agenda for frightening the international community. So this artificial engineering, creation and propagation of the multiplications of the IG, it be deliberately designed for frightening the international community. It be deliberately designed for project a bad image for a liberation struggle. The Americans they tell me very openly over the weekend. Before I go there, now these same people then will they not be interested for recruit forces, train forces, deploy forces, and equip forces. These same people then, I want to make all Ambazonians they know because the danger they ahead. They try now for use no pity. They try now for use the concept of unity, war of unity, with ADF and the Marine Forces and the Bui warriors, they create them for Bui. They try for use them now for hijack the forces on the ground. For set up a new arrangement will come around. For set up, say that they try now for project General No Pity as the leader for prepare the stage. Because the discussion through the Swiss, it need to move ahead. It don't fail. Now, the Cameroon colonial government, it define new ways. Grand national dialogue don't fail. The discussion through Cameroon and Swiss and the SACOs, it need to make any headway. Because now that process nothing move forward. Because they don't realize and say, the SACO be as useless as a piece of shit. You don't get any real leverage for any arrangement. So any arrangement through SACO, it no go work. That's why Cristiano now get for go create your own platform where they can say IG3. So when I need to understand the new setup where these people then where they always want to hijack the liberation struggle. Now for use no pity and the concept of unity on the ground for hijack those forces. Now, when I don't see what happened last month. First, they go for Oboni. They go kill 19 Ambazonians. Those forces, who they call and say unity warriors. They go kill 19 Ambazonian civilians. Why? Who they give these forces money? Now the same people that they sponsor these forces and give them bad advice. Why? For use these forces for give Ambazonian liberation struggle a bad name and for turn the population against the struggle. Secondly, after they kill 19 for Boni, they not rich. They come out. They go for Berlin Farquhar. They go join them with an internal conflict between two villages. And they kill more than 60 people. They kill more than 60 women, children, young men, young women. Who they kill them? Same forces. Why? For give the liberation struggle a bad name and turn the Ambazonian people against the liberation struggle. So the concept of unity for them. Now how for hijack the forces, destroy the forces from within. I give now all this information because it can. In the coming days when I go see them. In the coming weeks when I go see more of this. By the way, some of these forces for Manu especially, we don't engage them. We don't try for support them. We don't try for guide them. We don't try for educate them. They know it. We don't support some of them before all this nonsense. Try for coordinate them. But the power of the corruption, because when you create forces, there is no command and control structure. There is no direct political leadership alignment. Una be very careful. I go still tell una. When una get forces, they not be under direct political alignment. Any person, it go take them over. Any person will give them small money. Those forces, they don't know who this person be as long as it say I be Ambazonia. Sako come in. It take these forces. They useless them, turn them up and down. They turn the liberation struggle into a whole different thing on the ground. In the name of Ambazonia. They end up for kill 680 fighters in the name of county by county. When the name how many general they don't die for their hand. Carelessly. Carelessly. No accountability. No direct oversight, no command and control. And at the agenda that way, these people they record and say the Southern Cameroon International Town Hall, they push up for now. Say make forces, they leave all political movements. They go fight for the flag. There is no flag without political organization. Say fight only for the anthem. A people who did not constitute themselves. The flag of the United States is as useless as anything without the institutions of the United States where they give that flag value. The flag of Ambazonia, it be as useless as anything without political movements, without the nationalist aspiration movements, without leadership where give that flag significance and value. The reason where groups like Southern Cameroon International Town Hall, they push this agenda, make forces, they not fight for political groups. Now because they want make forces they be leaderless. Make forces they not get command and control structure. And therefore, Cameroon feel use those forces to their own advantage on the ground. Like when they see in the case of the forces in Manu. Within 1 month, they killed 19 for Oboni. They killed more than 60 for Berlin Farquhar. They burn the Manfred Hospital. Una be very careful. Una be very careful of people that like Christmas Ebini, where they promote this agenda and sponsor some of these forces for do this thing for their name. Una be very careful. When people they tell una make forces not be under structure. If a force not be under structure, who you think that force they fight for? Some of these forces, they never ever carry Ambazonian flag. They never ever sing Ambazonian anthem. They never ever participate for October 1. Tell me, some person tells you they fight for your liberation. They never ever carry a flag. They never ever sing your anthem. They never ever call Ambazonia. Who will they fight for? And every day when they call, na my general, na our general. They never ever carry on a flag. They never ever sing on an anthem. They never ever call the name Ambazonia. Who will they fight for? It not any political leadership. When I go back, all the forces where they talk say they be independent forces, whether now AMF, all those forces where they tell when I say they be independent forces, which don't happen for them. Which don't happen for them. These scavengers, they don't use them, destroy them. All the forces where they talk to the independent forces, they don't always be used, destroyed, and dumped. When I go back for Ayeke, what happened with Ayeke group? What happened? That's why it starts small. They use Ayeke, burn villages. They did make video, cut or go for village, put houses for fire, make video. Go for school, kidnap the entire school picking them. Make video. Go for village, catch all people there, make video. They be independent forces, right? They do all those things, like the Republic of Cameroon will use them as counter-intelligence against the liberation. Same. They use the TTA. Who said the other one the way be the work with Sako? That woman, what's it be name? I know I don't forget that. But when I know it. Aringwa. Who said it today? Who said Aringwa there today? They use commando and use all the other forces then for create the chaos for the Guzan area. Who said Aringwa there today? They end up for kill commando. They don't end up for kill Nsobu, for Bui. Any place where they put their hand there, they destroy them. They need to destroy La Republique. They destroy Ambazonia for surrender Ambazonia to La Republique of Cameroon for their Fumban negotiation. That's why we call them Fumba Knights. Alright? Make all these things in formula. Over the weekend, the leader of a war of independence, the president of Ambazonia Governing Council, and the executive team, they will meet up with Ambassador, the former U.S. Undersecretary of State, Ambassador Nagitibo. I will be for that meeting with the leader as the press secretary to the leader. I will be present for that meeting. As the leader informed the Ambazonian people, it will be a meeting for exchange views about what did happen within the international system. I know we'll go into detail, but the leader don't put out a message for all one. For tell us say we meet up with Mr. Tig and the team. They be meet up with Mr. Nagitibo for exchange views. One thing where Ambassador Nagitibo is still warn the Ambazonian people. Say the fear within the international community and the fear within the United States government. Now the fear of these many IG groups. Now listen. The team where Mr. Nagi Tibor Tokam and the team where the United States government tell we 3 weeks ago for Washington. The biggest fear within the international community, now these many IG groups. And this they are infighting with the do. The biggest threat to the freedom of Ambazonia now, not been la Republic of Cameroon, now the IG. The IG now the instrument, whether themselves they know one or they don't know one, with la Republic du Cameroon, it use them for slow down the pace of the Ambazonian liberation movement, for slow down the aspirations of the Ambazonian people. Then. The leader want make a tell now. Dr. Cho Ayaba want make a tell now. Ambazonia. Nagitibo talk say, look, una people, they go gain their freedom. That one be very assured. The past, the status quo, enough you hold again. Una people will gain their freedom. But the thing we una need for worry most, now these many IGs where they exist. The biggest danger are the many IGs. Dr. Cho want remind the Ambazonian people. He don't tell una say, we be a free people already. We, as Ambazonians, will be a free people. Cameroon no go ever control we again. They no go fit govern we. They no go fit control we again. We must, as a people where they want freedom, we not let ourselves. The first IG can manipulate una. Who said the carry una go? Wait till they offer them for una. Wait till they do them for una. The second IG, it come, it double down. Wait till they achieve them for una. Wait till they build them for una. Wait till they create them for una. The third IG don't come. Wait till they don't offer una. Wait till they don't build them for una. Wait till they don't create them for una. Nothing. Zero. Now, all those ones don't fail. Now that they are proxies in the name of Southern Cameroon International Town Hall. Now they are proxies. They do the damage now on behalf of the IG. Now people like Christmas Ebini, they do the damage. They do the sabotaging. They do the blackmailing. Now these people, they raise money. They give those forces for do those dangerous things on the ground for una name. Like the Beanies, where they raise money through Cyber Country Sunday and give them for forces. May they go kill Ambazonians for destroy the Ambazonian people there. For make the people may they not believe anymore, may they not trust anymore. That groups like Southern Cameroon International Town Hall, where they tell and make forces not be constituted under political leadership. Through political leadership, forces they feel be held accountable. Forces their conduct be regulated. The forces that they follow the mission and the vision of the organization. Now when they tell una, make forces they leave all political movements and just go fight for the flag. Who is the flag? What is the flag? Because they tell una, in that way there will be constant chaos on the ground. So when they raise money for gear and for forces without political alignment, Una expect more killings on the ground. Una expect more chaos on the ground. They do not be because they like una. They do not for weaken the resistance on the ground, frustrate the Ambazonian people then, and therefore spend all their time for outside for attack and blackmail nationalist movement so that una no go understand their dirty agendas and their dirty games on the ground. Una be very careful. Una wise up. The hope of una independence. It didn't for the hands of Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba. Una hear me fine. The hope for una for be free. For una forget freedom. Forget progress. Forget a country will be corruption free. And a government we will feel hold that government accountable. A system of transparency and democratic governance based on consent. A clean system. The only person where you get the capability, the experience, the ingenuity, the only true nationalist movement at the Ambazonia Governing Council. Anything short of that, I will be alive. You will be alive. We'll get a discussion on the other side. We will remain under Cameroon. I promise and I feel sure on that one. Because the experiments from IG1 to IG2 to IG3, it don't show we waiting their head. The warning signs and the danger of these proxy groups. The Ambazonia Defense Forces, from the time they create them from Daddy till today, they stand on one mission, one principle, one goal, one fight. People don't go up, come down. They don't twist them, talk all kind talk, do all kind things, call it all kind names. Now the only truly true thing we remember on the ground. Every other one, the forces from Meme, through the swords of Ambazonia, they use them, they turn them, they twist them, sell the generals, kill all the generals. Today Meme don't fall. It therefore the Republic will come on their hand. They take the red dragons, they bring them, they can't show that this big force with big guns them. Who said the day today? The guns they don't go back for places they come out. Even before the one kill Oliver for the BLM, how many guns there remain? How many guns there remain? Now be very careful. Same when I yeke. When I be see him, by the time the one kill Ayeke, how many guns there remain? What happen with the rest of the fighters? Cameroon come out, you can't tell now, so don't tell what beat them back. Make una not see anything will happen for ground as I already lay them out for una. We love and care about soldiers. But if any general and any soldier leave them, these political scavengers, they manipulate you. You go end up like Ayeke. You go end up like what's the one with the kill it with these people they kill it for Bui. Like you go end up like Nsobu. You go end up like Commando. Anyone where they don't always use it, now they say they end up for killing. Now be very careful. Now be very careful. If we not allow ourselves to be politically used because some person is sending you money, the money where they send them for you, they need to send you money because they love you. They send you money because they don't want to make you get straight head. They send you money now because they don't want to make you focused on the National Liberation Plan. They want to use you like a small politician on the ground. They hope for the independence of Ambazonia. The total unconditional freedom for our people there. It's not for the Ambazonia Governing Council in hand. We'll get a fine discussion with Mr. Nagitibo. The hope for independence will be stronger. We are no need for worry. Just like before, we the Ambazonian people then, me and you, we the common man, our resilience, our ability for defy the odds, for defeat all these machinations, all these manipulations and all this deception. We get the capacity, we get the sophisticated intelligence for defeat all this La République du Cameroun, their small outpost. These their outfits, these proxy outfits. We get the capacity for defeat them. As nationalists. Now I want to speak to the forces, to the population of Bamenda. I want to speak for the man picking them and the boys of Bamenda. Over the last few weeks, La République du Cameroun, their Bulu army, their Bulu occupation army, it is stopped on a road, it take on a bikes. Now man picking, another man picking, it is stop you for inside your own town, inside your own country. A foreign man picking, because he wear the uniform of the occupier, because he carry gun, it will stop you. It take your bike. Your bike now the only thing where you don't create them for give your family food, for take care of yourself, for put your picking them through schools, for pay your rent, for build your house, for take care of your papa and your mommy then. A Bulu man picking, he wear a Bulu uniform, a Bulu terrorist occupational uniform. It stop you for road, it take your bike. We don't hear say for Bamenda. They don't seize more than the bikes of more than 500 bike men there. I want to ask you something. The person who sees your bike, not be a man picking to. I want to ask the man picking for Bamenda. The person who sees your bike, not be a man picking. Wait till make it be different from you where you go seize your bike. And you leave make it go down. Wait till go make you leave a foreign person with a foreign uniform. It come for a foreign land. That land na your own. The city na your own. The ground na your own. You leave them. It can seize your bike. A bike where they give you chop. A bike where they give your picking and chop. A bike where they give your mommy chop. A bike where they help you for take care of your family. You leave them. A foreign person come up for a foreign land. It come for your own land. It can't take your bike. You the looky. You not be man picking. Who say your own color stay? Stand up. Stand up. Woke up. Reclaim your man pickiness. At the say when the organizers will go protest. Check. Ma ask you something. If be protest for can't take your bike. For can't take your bike, now protest you use them. Where you want to go protest. Another man picking can't take your bike. You be man picking. If be protest for can't take your bike, we want to go protest for you for give back your bike. It use na force. It use na intimidation. For dominate you. A coward they protest. When another man begin, he use force for take your bike. So you go kneel down. Well, Mr. Governor, give a bike here. Mr. Governor, give a bike here. You go kneel down in front of a Bulu bee for protest. They give a bike. You go beg. May they give a bike. They be beg you for take your bike. You must learn one thing for this life. Bullies, they need to listen for begging. The reason why they take your bike, now for disarm you financially, now for disarm you socially, now for disarm you economically. The reason why they take a bike, now for turn you into a weak human being. But I'm not thinking the people of Bamenda they be weak. Bamenda is the capital city of the resistance of Ambazonian people then. The bravest Ambazonians, they come out for Bamenda. Through our history as Ambazonians, it don't be proven. Even for this liberation struggle, Bamenda is the epicenter of our resistance. I want to call on the men and the boys of Bamenda. No amount of protest, it will give you dignity. You know, go protest against your occupier for gain your dignity. You get one choice and one choice only. Stand up as a rebel. Stand up as a nationalist. Stand up as a person with one dignity, you want freedom. You must stand up and be your own man pikin. Where you be 2 times a man pikin than a Bulu foreigner. Join the forces. Go buy your gun. Go buy your gun. They use na gun for take your bike. Go buy gun, join the liberation. Join the resistance. The only way where you go regain your dignity as an Ambazonian man, now for go buy your gun. The only way where you go regain your manhood and be man pikin, buy your gun and defend yourself. Protect your family. Protect your children. Defend your community against foreign invaders. If you not do so, you go continue for beg. For the rest of your life, you no go ever be a man again. Your woman no go respect you. Your mommy no go respect you. Your pikin no go ever respect you again. Because they see say another man pikin, he get dominance and control over you. You want to gain your respect? You want to gain your dignity? You want to gain your manhood? Join the fight. Join the resistance. Join the fight for your own liberation and your own freedom. Buy your guns and protect your families, protect yourself, protect your community against Cameroon occupation forces. You don't do it, you have no life. Your salvation, that buy your gun and fight against Cameroon invasion and Cameroon occupation. Be like the Ukrainians. Every Ukraine between the ages of 18 and 65, they carry their gun for defend themselves against Russia invasion and occupation of Ukraine. That's the only way that we go get your dignity. If you go on the streets for go protest, you be a coward. Say another man begin take your bike. You go protest. You go protest to Lele l'Afrique. The colonial governor for do waiting. Buy your gun, tell Lele l'Afrique who get Bamenda. Buy your gun and defend your children. Buy your gun and defend your mothers. Defend your communities against Cameroon invading forces. If you want to send a message to Lele l'Afrique, una 500 of una buy una guns, una go take over the up station. Buy una guns, una invade the B camp and teach those cowards a lesson. Una must become nationalist. Now the thing is what Dr. Abadi try for teach una. But una don't leave them. The political cowards. They take una. They turn una into morons. Because they play politics with una lives. Stand up and be a man.